Hey, how you doing? My name is Brandon Burkhart. I'm from Southern California, where I still reside today. I grew my first cannabis plant when I was 15. I opened my first hydroponics and organic store when I was 20, where I lived for 4 years to be able to pay the rent on the building. Cannabis cultivation was a gray area in California for a long time. Running into law enforcement was a pretty common occurrence. My worst experience was being raided by the DEA when I was 25. My true passion is cannabis cultivation. I believe when you're truly passionate about something, nothing can stop you. Cannabis cultivation is the foundation of the industry. It's where everything starts. No matter if you're in extraction, retail dispensary, finance, everything starts with cannabis cultivation. So it's good to have a basic understanding. I was really fortunate to grow up in California, the first state to legalize cannabis in the United States. It's not always how much time you've spent in the field to become good at it. More often than not, it's the mistakes that you've made in that field that drives true wisdom. I made a lot of mistakes in the 20 years I've been growing this plant. I've learned many things, but one thing is to never stop learning. My goal in this short time with you today is to share a little of what I learned in the past to drive success for you, your teams, and your families. We came from an industry where we grew in garages, basements, and bedrooms to scale commercial cultivation in large commercial buildings and warehouses. Let me tell you about some of the challenges that we faced with this transition. Number one is talent density. Growing 6 lights to 30 lights is a completely different ballgame from 500 to 1,000 lights. It's a different talent. It's essential to hire the right manager. Look for someone that is process and data driven, that's familiar with Six Sigma or Kaizen, that's always open to new ideas but doesn't chase every bell and whistle. It's really important to be a good cannabis grower, but it's essential to know how to operate, motivate, and manage a team. Number two, building the right facility. Build a facility that's process driven, not a facility to grow cannabis. Build a facility that operates around a schedule. Here are some basic rules. Always try to have the same size flower room with consistent plant counts. Building your facility around a schedule. On average, a cannabis plant flowers in 9 weeks. Everything you do with building that facility revolves around a 9-week schedule. If you have 2 flower rooms, you're going to be harvesting every 4.5 weeks. If you have 3, you're going to be harvesting every 3 weeks. If you have 6, you're going to be harvesting every 1.5 weeks. If you build a facility with 6 flower rooms, everything revolves around 1.5 weeks. You're going to be taking clones every 1.5 weeks, transplanting every 1.5 weeks, harvesting 1.5 weeks, drying, trimming every 1.5 weeks. If your trim crew takes 2 weeks to trim your flower harvest, then you're going to be a half a week behind schedule and flower will start piling up in your dry rooms. This is why you want to build a facility to operate a schedule. Number 3, always try and think about workflow. Number 4, build your mother tissue culture and clone room as far away as possible from your flower rooms. Aroma from flowering plants attract bugs. The longer the plant is alive, the more susceptible to PM, powdery mildew, and issues. Tissue culture, mothers, and clones are the foundation of your business. What starts well, ends well. Number 5, irrigation. There's many ways to irrigate a garden. You always want to design something that's easy to operate. There's many design companies that do irrigation design. Preferably pick designers that have cultivated cannabis at scale, indoors, or installed complex irrigation systems. A lot of what we do at Athena is build process and procedures that drive success. I'm going to present some processes that we've built over the years that a lot of time, energy, and experience went into these SOPs. I believe it's important for everyone to have a why. Why are we doing this? I'm going to read you Athena's why. Athena program was created out of the need for cultivators to have data-driven, easy-to-use, cannabis-specific products that drive success. Whether for 1 light or 1,000 lights, our purpose is to fight against misinformation and share real knowledge, processes, and data based on what we see in our grow rooms. Athena's not a nutrient line, Athena's a program. So this is a resource page on our website under procedures. A lot of time, energy went into driving these SOPs. We go through feed schedules, IPM procedures against spider mites, powdery mildew, fungus gnat procedures. We also do a lot of clean line. So clean line's a line of products that we offer. The SOPs are here. Irrigation strategy SOPs, and facility procedures and general knowledge. This is a lot of years of experience went into this one page. A lot of these procedures, every single one of these procedures were developed at the Jungle Boys facility in Los Angeles, California. Here's an example of a procedure on plant spacing and irrigation recommendation. As you can see, you have a 4x4 or a 5x5 footprint. It goes over pot size, plant count, Netafim pressure compensated dripper recommendation, and then it goes over rock wool size, plant count, and dripper recommendation. Here's an irrigation strategy. I cannot voice how important this is. This will change a business. You can literally double your yields with the right irrigation strategy. It's not always adding a special product that's going to increase your yields. More often than not, it's having an efficient climate and irrigation strategy. There's so much that happens in your root zone. So this is a SOP on irrigation strategy. It goes over a 24-hour light cycle with a P1, P2, P3 feeding, where it goes over lights on, lights off. It goes over drybacks, water content, and EC in the media. That's on our procedures page. So this program was developed over years at Jungle Boys. We use 4 products at one time: Balance, Core, Bloom, and Cleanse. I'll go deeper into the products later, but it's really important in scale cultivation to keep it super simple. There's no reason to overcomplicate things. Another thing is what you put in your irrigation lines, you have to deal with it later. So putting glucose or microbes or some kind of organic product in your irrigation lines will cause massive clogging, could cause massive clogging and problems in the future. Here's a line of our products. This is what will be available in Thailand. Pro line is at the top. With Balance and Cleanse, our IPM line, which fights against bugs, powdery mildew. Stack is our 4-layer feed, clean line, and then our culture line, which we released 2023, which we're really excited about. So quality control, we're growing a high value crop. Quality control is one of our main focuses. It goes through our input sources. We have a manufacturing facility in Sacramento that we own. It's 70,000 square feet. Chris Duran from UC Davis operates that manufacturing facility. And this goes over our quality control and what we do to make sure that we're sending out clean, consistent, pH-stable fertilizer with good inputs. So one great product that we have is called Balance. This is our pH up product. It does three things. It buffers reverse osmosis water. It increases your pH. It's a potassium silicate, so it strengthens the stalks and stems of your plants and creates a hardier plant that's a much stronger plant. This is Cleanse. This is one of our flagship products. It's a hyperchlorous acid that's stabilized. It's got a shelf life of 2 years. This does 3 modes of action, keeps all your irrigation lines clean of biofilm and sediment buildup, kills any kinds of pathogens that might reside in the root zone. It also adds oxygen to your root zone, creating a more consistent canopy and more consistent growth throughout the garden. It is an incredible product. Here's our base nutrients. You're just going to use 2 of these bags at the same time. So for vegetative growth, you'll use Core and Grow. And then for flower, you'll use Core and Bloom. So going back to the 4 products, it's Balance, Cleanse, Core, and Bloom for flower. And that's all you need. So Fade is something we came out with this year, and we're really proud of it. We did a lot of work with Bruce Bugbee at Utah State University on this product. And what we learned about the cannabis plant regarding nitrogen is that nitrogen, the more nitrogen you have in a plant, the more chlorophyll you have, which the more leaf mass you have. What you want to do is you want to pull that nitrogen out the last few weeks. What that does, it lets the plant become what its true genetic potential should be. So what we've seen is a substantial increase in terpene production, substantial increase in THC production. And what we're really doing is nothing really special. It's not like a magic in a bottle. All we're doing is completely removing nitrogen the last 3 weeks of flower and letting that plant finish to be what it should be. Here's a great example of what I'm talking about. So you can see this garden in the beginning stages of, or the mid stages of flower, and then we introduce Fade and fade out the garden right here. All right, so you can see how mid-flower, you've got a lot of green in the leaves, a lot of nitrogen, a lot of chlorophyll. Introducing the Fade the last 2 to 3 weeks, depending on cultivar and genetic and flowering time, pulls that nitrogen, lets that flower finish and be what it truly wants to be with its true terpene potential. Just like everything we do, we create a detailed SOP. You can see what you're not adding a product. What we're doing is we're switching the Core and we're putting in Fade. Core holds all of our nitrogen, and Fade introduces calcium with micros and takes away the nitrogen. It's an incredible product. So here's the recommending mixing order. This is important. You know, Balance increases pH and then goes through Core, Bloom, Cleanse. And then mixing order with fade is balance, core, fade, or balance, fade, bloom, cleanse when you're finishing. A lot of people think that you need to add something to this. This is what the Jungle Boys use in Southern California, and they grow some of the best flower that in the state. So there's really nothing to add to this. This is the program that they use. So here's our IPM line. We, growing up in cannabis and growing for so long, there's so many different IPM products that I've used, and it's nice to have one product in a bottle that treats so many different things that bugs don't build a resilience to. A lot of the times when you're using a product, you'll start to see that bugs will start to come back because they're building a resilience to the product. IPM is an enzyme-based product, so the bug can't build a resistance to it. This is all we use on our IPM unless we have some kind of broad mite or rusted mite outbreak. This is it. This is the end all be all for IPM. It's powdery mildew, bugs, spider mites. Here's a video that goes over kind of the spraying schedule and how we use it. So pretty simple, one product. This is all we use for our IPM. Move on. With everything we do an SOP for everything, and this is, we worked on these for months, and there's a lot of work that goes into these, which are on the procedures page. Fungus gnats. Stack is a foliar feed product, amino acids. You can mix it with IPM, and there's the IPM stack mix schedule and SOP. So you can spray them at the exact same time. So this is a really cool line, and I think this is going to be big soon in Thailand because testing is coming. So they're going to start testing for aspergillus, mold, yeast. So this is going to be a really important line to become familiar with. If you're doing any kind of GMP facility or exporting flower, you're definitely going to want to use this product line. I own a 96,000 square foot cannabis grow in Nevada, and I was failing about 25%. So I was getting about a 70 to 75% pass rate. And we worked with this company that is in the food industry, and they gave us a program to use at Jungle Boys, and I took that to my cannabis grow in Nevada. What I was realizing, I was getting a lot of aspergillus from my drains that would come up and land on the flower of the plant, which would cause us to fail. I used this program, and I sprayed it in my drains, and I reset my room. I went from a 75% pass rate to about a 95 to a 98% pass rate. Changed my business. I made an extra $30,000 a month just by using these cleaning procedures. So it's a big deal when we're talking about testing aspergillus, mold, and yeast. So this is the clean line. It's like everything we do, we build programs. So this is built around a program. You have a foamer that has a two-part system with a reservoir. You use two products. One is Reset, and then the other is Parafoam, which is a foaming agent that goes with the Reset. It helps the Reset stay on surfaces longer, which disinfects. The great thing about this is you don't have to wash it off, so you can spray the surfaces of your room, your cultivation room, and let it sit and dry, and it completely disinfects it, and gets it ready for the next harvest. Did this go out? Hello? You got it now? All right. So here's the Reset foamer, pretty simple. This will all be available in Thailand. SOP, this is a 13-step SOP that goes through how to disinfect and sterilize a room. Okay, this one I'm really excited about. So this was a new release for 2023. This is gonna change the tissue culture industry. So I think it's important to realize, like, why is tissue culture so important? And one is managing a clean book of genetics. So I think, in my opinion, one of the most important parts of a cannabis cultivation business is genetics, right? That's where your foundation of your business is. Being able to manage those genetics are really difficult because you need a lot of square footage and a lot of time and energy to manage them. Tissue culture gives you the ability to take a cutting of the cell of the plant, put it in a media, and store it for up to a year to 2 years without really touching it. So you can have a bank of 500 genetics sitting in a small shelf that you can pull from, take another tissue culture, put it in another media, root it out, put it back in your garden, and bring that cultivar pretty much back to life. And you know it's clean of pathogens, clean of viruses. Going into viruses, there's a pandemic in the United States, and it's called hop latent viroid, HLV. So it's a huge problem right now. It's hard to spot. It's not something that's really visible too often. You've got to kind of have a trained eye for it. And a lot of the times, HLV, hop latent viroid, pops up about first 2 to 3 weeks of flower. So by the time you've vegged out your garden, now you're in flower, you've spent all this time, energy, and money getting to the plant to where it is, you start to see this hop latent viroid come out. So the only way to cure hop latent viroid is with meristem tissue culture. This kit gives you the ability to do meristem tissue culture, and anybody could do it. Like, with the SOP that we put in the hood of the kit, it makes it so anybody can do tissue culture. Here's a video that kind of gives you detailed. All right, so just to kind of give you an overview of what you're looking at, you have a flow hood, an autoclave, the SOP in the hood. You two different kinds of media comes with the kit. You have the roots and you have the shoots. Everything is in the kit except bleach and alcohol. So you're gonna have to get your own bleach and your own alcohol. Other than that, you can buy one box and do tissue culture yourself. All you gotta do is follow the SOP. We're gonna have more detailed SOPs coming out that's more visual. So if you were to do a cutting, you would cut tissue off of a mother, you would put it in the shoots media and grow that tissue out, and then go into the autoclave, or take the roots, put it in front of your flow hood, take a tissue of the cells that are in the shoots, put them in the roots, and then those cells would grow out with roots, and then you would take that, wash that off, and put it in your mother room and cultivate that plant when you're ready to bring it out. So shoots is your storage gel, and it's your starts to everything you do. Roots is how you get it into the garden. This is the only kit that you can buy and just do tissue culture right away, and anybody can do it. And you could also do it mobile. So I think before this kit, you know, tissue culture consultants were kind of making things more difficult than they needed to be, and we just really made it simple. And just like with a lot of everything we do, we make it really, really simple. The magic in this is the shoots and the roots. It's very hard to make that media. It takes the exact amount of hormones, the exact amount of glucose, and the exact fertilizer to do it. Guys have been working on it for many years and not been successful. We fortunately have the head tissue culture lab tech at Jungle Boys, which these are the Jungle Boy formulations that they use in their lab to do all the tissue culture. This is a game changer for the industry. Here's the tissue culture SOP book that we'll be coming out with soon. And then last but not least, VP Dome. This is a really cool product. It makes a lot of what we do is work on efficiencies. So here's an example. All right, so the new VP Dome, this is an SOP done by Jungle Boys on how to use it. Saves tons of time in the cultivation, in the clone room. Also, you can put your tissue cultures in there and store your tissue cultures. It's a pretty rad new product that we came out for 2023. And then also we have a podcast. You could go onto YouTube, Spotify, or Apple, and it's called We the Growers. It's what we do is we interview people that are a lot smarter than us, like Bruce Bugby, Chris Durand at UC Davis. We did one with Tassa where we talked about, she's with Toomey Genomics. If you want good, honest information about cultivating cannabis, it's a great resource. That's it. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.